This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to another Running Gears episode where we're going to talk about the Nike Turbo 3. New to the channel, thank you for joining in. Running Gears, we talk about running shoes, and from the perspective of someone who is a little bit bigger and not an elite runner by any sense, more of a jogger. But we wanted to talk about the Nike Turbo 3, and it's no longer being made. Nike Turbo line is gone. As you can see behind me here, and I'll grab one, the Nike Turbo 1, or originally the Pegasus Turbo, really long name, Nike Pegasus 35 Turbo. Then the Nike Turbo 2 were some absolutely amazing shoes that I think took the running world by storm. They were lightweight. They had that ZoomX cushioning on a React carrier that made it soft, flexible, light, and it just had a propensity to really encourage you to continually improve your turnover. You wanted to bounce off the ground and just keep moving as fast as you can, where you really learn to increase your cadence, which goes a long way. So obviously the longer your stride, the stronger your stride, you're going to get faster, but increasing your cadence is an easy way of reducing injuries and getting faster. And this was one of the best shoes to really ever do it, at least in my humble opinion, reviewing shoes and just doing running more recently than not. Another aspect that made this so amazing was because it had that ZoomX. That ZoomX cushioning was really only available in your Vaporflies. So, and now obviously your Alpha Fly. So having this allowed your foot and your body to really acclimate a little bit. So when you had this for race day, you felt great. These were an awesome 1-2 combo. So why did Nike stop the Turbo line? Well, with the Alpha coming out and being out and obviously newer colorways, you have something that is a lot more cushioned, offers a slightly different kind of ride and performance. I do have my pair coming in, so I'll be able to compare that for you from the Vaporfly. Now the Vaporfly is actually, or Vaporfly Next specifically, is still being sold almost in concert with the Alpha Fly, where Nike really intends people to either use them both or have different purposes. And they have the Tempo Next, which is the counterpart, but the Tempo Next is really more of a Zoom Fly replacement. Now, Nike does have their Zoom Fly line, which is also being discontinued, but the Zoom Fly 3 didn't really have a lot of fans. I know when I tried them on in store, I wasn't really impressed. They just felt weird and clunky. The Zoom Fly 2 to me was very bottom heavy. I ended up selling my pair. I do have the Zoom Fly 1 SP here, which I really liked for that super lightweight feel, still bottom heavy. This was using a version of Lunar before React, but it still had a carbon nylon plate, so not carbon fiber, and this still had a really nice kind of toe off and propulsion effect. Even me trying to bend it here, this is very much a carbon fiber like plate, and this was kind of the training counterpart to the Vaporfly. So you had the Zoom Fly that gave you a little more cushion and allowed your body to train with that plate before you went into the Vaporfly. And then you had your Pegasus Turbo when initially released, and then the Turbo 2 as more a daily trainer or a tempo trainer, and something that was just so all around amazing. So Nike did away with the Turbo 2, a shoe that you could use for almost any task. People have used it in marathons, pretty much most distances. It's comfortable, it's light, the materials were excellent. You guys take a look here where it's flexible. There really is no break-in. It's breathable. There's not many complaints. It's one of those Nike, why are you taking this away? So one, I do have two pairs because it's one of those shoes that I don't know if we're ever going to get something back again like this. But the name of this video is the Nike Turbo 3. So obviously Nike is not coming out with them, but I did want to give you the two closest options that in some ways are better, and they're going to give you a very close feel so you can continue running in something you enjoy in that's not being made anymore. All right, number one isn't a turbo, but it's a speed shoe. All right, there you go. The Hyper Burst Speed from Skechers. This thing is incredibly lightweight, actually even lighter. I would actually say even bouncier. It is very similar as far as there's no plate, so it does feel a little bit more natural. It does really want you to increase your cadence. Maybe not as much so as that one, but it is something that it really pushes you to go faster. The faster you go, the more it just feels at home. But it actually has plenty of cushion. Even if you're not pushing the pace, it feels comfortable on slower paces as well. Now, the only negative on this, and this was the first generation, was one, the looks. This isn't the best looking shoe, guys. I understand. It's okay, and it's a Skechers, which I honestly think Skechers Performance needs a name change in the market to kind of continue their advancements, because they're coming out with some amazing shoes. So this is the Razor Speed, and forgive me, I know I called it the Speed. This is the Razor. The Razor Plus is now coming out here in 2020 that has a completely updated upper that honestly looks very similar to the Turbo, that should fit more people. It's going to have the same tooling essentially as far as the midsole, more durable Goodyear rubber outsole, so this is something that you can be used more as a daily trainer, even more so. And at the end of the day, also looks, I think, a lot better. That Razor Plus is something that is also coming out with a coveted colorway that was only meant for their athletes in that zebra design. They're calling it a camouflage or ghost effect. And this is something that those versions look incredible. So you have an amazing option in this for, I guess, the next Turbo 3 that is even lighter, has more cushion, and it's going to fit a lot of people. And I know it doesn't say Nike, but guys, give this a chance. The second option is something a little bit more appropriate for a lot of runners out there, where you'll know the company, and that's from Brooks, and that's the Hyperion Tempo. Now, this is one that is using their new DNA, what is that? Flash. This is actually very similar to what they're using in the Skechers Hyperburst, albeit I think it's a little bit more dense. It's not as lightweight. It feels like it absorbs impact slightly better. So if you're running on concrete, asphalt, of course, this is a road shoe. You're not going to have as much shock coming up, even at slower paces. Now, the great job they did with Brooks as far as this model, they do have its racing counterpart in the Hyperion Elite 2 that is using similar cushion setup, but with a carbon fiber plate that seems to really echo the exact same formula that Nike did, where, well, maybe they did in opposite order, where you have the Vaporfly and then you have the Turbo. So you have something you can train in, you have your tempo days that you can really do almost any kind of run in. This is a really fantastic shoe. The fit is also one that is, this material just flexes really nicely. There's no break-in. It moves with your foot, and this has a lot of rubber on the outsole. This is one thing I liked it over the Razor 3. I guess the Razor 3 Plus with the Goodyear might be catching up, but a lot of the rubber in this outsole where it just feels durable to run in. This is a cushion that feels like it's going to stand up to a lot of miles. And it's also fairly lightweight. This is about the same weight as the Turbo. I don't have a measurement here in hand. Not as lightweight as the Razor, but if you're coming from a Nike Zoom Turbo, this is something that's not going to be as squishy. It's going to give you a little bit less bounce, so everything is muted just a little bit, but you're getting that lightweight, you're getting that turnover, you're getting that natural feel as far as there's no carbon fiber plate. And then you're also getting that counterpart, where if you're staying with the Brooks line, you're able to get the Hyperion Elite 2, which is something a little bit more stable from all reports. Hopefully I'll have a pair coming in next month, so those are expensive. And that's something a little bit more stable and very similar as far as the amount of technology and the quality of shoe you're getting from a Vaporfly. So you really have a great 1-2 punch. And if you're staying with the Brooks line, going with a daily trainer such as their Glycerin or their Ghost is going to give you something where you can put a lot of miles on it. And then you have this for the tempo days, and then you have the Hyperion Elite for your race days. Now, Nike just took a different approach this year in 2020, where I believe their Pegasus 37 really kicked everything up a notch. The Pegasus 37 is something that feels quicker, is more comfortable, and I think it made the Turbo almost obsolete because they gave the Pegasus all of the React cushioning, so it's no longer Cushlon. They give it a lot bigger zoom bag, so now you have the Pegasus line in general that's been elevated, not necessarily in price, but really in performance overall, that made it more obsolete. The problem is you're looking at $120 for a Pegasus 37, and it's been on sale here and there, so you can get it for a little bit cheaper. But you have a Tempo next that's $200. That's not nearly as light. I'm not sure what the turnover is going to be on that. I have that coming in, so I'll be able to test on that. And you still have the Vaporfly at $250, which is the same price as many of the elite shoes out there for marathon running shoes. And the Alphafly at $275, so you're really stretching how much you're asking a runner to pay, especially if you're going to have kind of a two-shoe set where you have something for faster days, something for training. And that Turbo to Vaporfly was something I think a lot of people were comfortable with at that $180 and $250 price point, which is still very expensive. Hopefully you can find some on discount, but being able to shift that down a little bit with the Brooks, where something like the Hyperion Tempo, this I believe is about $150. So you're saving a little bit there. And the Hyperion Elite 2 has had a few discounts that have been sparing, but at $250 it's a little expensive, but it's the same price. You're not going up at $275. Now, if you're going to stay with the Skechers lineup, you do have the Razor 3. You do have their daily trainer and their Go Run 8, and they have a few other models I really like. Their Max Road shoe, which I really enjoy, all getting updated uppers this year. And then their performance running shoe is something that is even lighter. Carbon fiber plate really pushes you forward, and that's only $200. So if you really want to go on a budget while still getting elite performance, check out Skechers Performance. And if you're going to stay around that same price point, I think Brooks did a really good job with their offering, because Nike is essentially kind of wanting you to spend more and offering more expensive options. And maybe they're better, maybe they're not, but at the end of the day, it's still a lot of money, and you have to decide if it's worth it for you. Guys, girls, if you enjoyed that video, please consider giving a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please put them down below. As always, this is Levi with Sneaker Gears. I really appreciate you guys, and I will come at you later.